This is a question, again, that I have gotten asked a lot of times during my coaching, and that is, and it's not even a question, it's just like I have coaching calls from time to time, and this is a popular theme that comes up, that is saying, you know, I want to have proof that what I'm doing, the inner work, the shadow work, you know, the neutrality, the inner union, whatever that might be, I want to have proof that what I'm doing is making a difference. And the proof that I want to have means that I need to see it in my external reality, in my physical reality. So I've hit on this from time to time, sort of interwoven in some of my videos and stuff like that. And you guys know, I know that a lot of people on the other side of the camera are already gonna know what I'm about to say. And that is that when we're looking for proof in our external reality, we're never going to find it. That's a given, right? We're never going to find it because it means that within us, we don't believe that we are in inner union, that we are in our sovereignty, that we are in our love, that we are in our I am presence. All of those things, we still have something going on within us, the ego, that is still saying, no, I don't believe this unless I see it with my own two eyes. I don't believe this unless I have proof that this is actually working. And so this is another one of those aspects where the ego is going to come in and try to trump your experience, right? Try to override what you're experiencing with its own, you know, logic based on an old program that you have been running. So when this is coming up, and it comes up often, I guess, for a lot of people, that they feel like, why is all this inner work that I'm doing not showing up through the twin? Or why is it not showing up through other people? Or why is it not showing up in my physical reality at all? The reason that these things stop showing up, potentially it was showing up and you weren't aware of it, but potentially it's also not showing up because you're looking for it. And so now we've slipped back into seeking energy, chasing energy, needing proof, needing validation of the external reality. Your external reality is coming from within you. You are creating your external reality, which I know is a trigger for a lot of people, by what is going on within you, by what's going on your thoughts and your beliefs and your programs and, you know, your identifications and all of those sort of things based on whatever narrative you're subscribing to. So if you're still subscribing to the old version of you, then the old version of you is what you're going to see show up in the physical reality. If you're subscribing to inner union, if that's your narrative, right? If you're shifting, if you're focusing on you, you're focusing on your self-love, you're focusing on your ascension, then that is what is going to be showing up in your physical reality. It's just by default that this is going to be happening, right? There can be timeline lags here, as I've mentioned before. So if you're just coming into anchoring inner union and you're still looking over your shoulder saying, okay, you know, let me see the changes in the masculine because now I've anchored in inner union, so that means I've collapsed duality and all of these sort of things. So why am I not seeing in them? First of all, you're looking for it, which means, again, you're chasing. And so it's not going to show up because the inner union that you feel you're anchored in has obviously not anchored, because when you're in inner union, you're not going to be looking for validation outside of you anymore, right? All of that stuff will have collapsed. It's just not going to be coming up as a part of your reality once this energy that is you, the I am presence that is you, is fully anchored, right? And so I always have the need to sort of, you know, go back over what I've said in most of my videos. And then that is that you're not trying to get anywhere. You're not trying to become something. You're not really trying to ascend. You already are that. It's just that we don't have very good words in this reality at this point of this mass awakening that we are going through with humanity. And so the words generally do start to fail in a lot of ways. And so when I say, you know, ascend, or you're moving into this or shifting into that, as I've said before, all you're doing is peeling back the separation, right? You're peeling back the programs, you're peeling back, you know, the old identifications that you have that are basically just exposing what you've always been. It's always there, right? You're always the I am presence. The I am presence is experiencing itself through separation and through the programs that we run. Now the I am presence that is you is an awakening, and now it's going to be expressing itself through union and unity and love and all of those things. So if we're still subscribing to that old narrative, and I did another video a couple days ago that's talking about, you know, what's the dominant energy behind what you are feeling in any given moment, because that's the energy that ultimately you're going to see in your reality. So these two videos really work well together if you want to go back and watch that one. It's the same premise, right? It's the same premise, because we're still looking for proof. We're still so which means we're still not in that place of really, like, you know, stepping into our own light, stepping into our own sovereignty. And so, and it's fine if you're not there, right? It's fine if you're not there. It's not like a good or a bad or a wrong or a right. This does take time. It is a process, right? It is a transition. But just have the awareness that when we're focused on the outcome all the time, and we're always needing that validation or that proof that what we're doing is working, then it's never going to show up in the way that we're hoping that it's going to show up, because we're not in inner union, right? We're not in that place of that self-loving place. We're not in the place of just having that awareness that I am no longer running that old program. That, you know, that reality that I have been creating is not the reality that I want to continue to create. Like, I've done that. You know, I've said this a bunch of times. You've done that. You've lived that. You know, if you're going through an awakening process, which you will be if you're on a twin flame path, because that's actually what the whole point of this is. The twin flame is your catalyst for your awakening. If you're going through this process, then, you know, you have to have the awareness and the faith that this is the higher self's path. This is the I am presence path. And the I am presence and the higher self that is you is walking this path. It's the ego that is getting in between you and that, basically with the programs and the definitions and all of those sort of things, right? But if you're awakening, then that means the I am presence that is you, the higher self that is you, decided before it incarnated as you in this physical avatar to awaken in this lifetime. To awaken out of that old program, to awaken out of the belief system that says, I need proof to show me that what I'm doing, my inner work and my ascension is actually working, right? Ascension is actually shifting you out of that entire belief, out of that entire narrative. So it's like we have to, you know, feel into, do I still have that belief? You do if you're still looking for proof. You do if you're still looking for doubt, for validation, and that's okay. But it's identifying that you still have that belief or that program running, that you're still leaning on the externality in order to show you, you know, whatever it is that you want it to show you, that this is real, right? You know, that this is what you're experiencing. You know, there's a million things of what we want proof on to show us that this is real. Am I really on a twin flame path? Is that person really my twin flame? Am I really coming into, you know, neutrality? Is inner union real? Is the work that I'm doing, you know, even making a difference? Am I actually awakening? All of those things, you know, are asking for proof to say yes. And so that the mind can get on board and say, okay, I have proof now. And so now I can surrender, right? Again, it's the outside looking in when this is the inside looking out. That's why this path can feel so much like a trust fall. It can feel so much like that surrender place, because it's asking the ego to surrender. The ego does not know how to surrender, and it damn sure doesn't want to surrender. But this path, again, it's having the awareness of, this isn't the ego's path. You don't need to appease the ego. You don't need to placate the ego. You don't need to tell the ego, you know, like, oh, like, I'm going to show you proof, ego, so that you'll believe me and all of those sort of things. This is the higher self's path. The higher self doesn't give a damn, 1111. The higher self doesn't give a damn if the ego is having a fit, right? The higher self that is you has the awareness that the ego is a navigational tool that you have been using to, you know, experience separation in the 3D reality. But that's all it is. It's not who you are, right? You are the I am presence, experiencing itself in form in myriad of different ways. You are the creator of the reality, right? Based on what you're believing and what you're seeing and what you're thinking and all of those things. So, you know, when we're always dependent, and I know it seems really counterintuitive, but when we're always dependent on our five senses to lead us through an awakening path, you know, we have to have the awareness. It's that at this point, you know, you're awakening, which means your crown chakra is opening, which means your third eye is opening, which means it's asking you, the higher self that is you, and that your heart chakra is opening, all your chakras. But those specifically is that, you know, the higher self is saying, hey, you know, remember who you are. The five senses only get you so far in, you know, the 3D physical reality. The awakening, you know, this is the third eye. This is having higher awareness, higher knowledge. This is the crown chakra, the crown chakra, higher awareness, higher knowledge. It's starting to lean into the truth of what you are beyond what the five senses are always telling you. And when we're leaning into that, I need proof, then again, we're leaning back into the 3D and the way that the 3D operates. The way that the higher self operates is not that, or you wouldn't be awakening, right? If you weren't meant to shift out of that, as I said in that last video that I made, you wouldn't be on an awakening path. So be in that, just like kind of, you know, having just sort of faith on that level that's like, okay, I'm going through an awakening, so that means my higher self is guiding this. The higher self that is me is guiding this and orchestrating this and leading this and all of these things. So I don't need to keep leaning onto the past narrative and the past belief systems, because the higher self who is me has got me, right? And so I don't need to keep looking for proof in the external reality that the higher self has got me. You're awakening. The whole thing that you're awakening is showing you that the higher self has got you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this path, right? You wouldn't be. You wouldn't be asked to be like having complete faith and surrender in the fact that you're now ascending and you don't really know what's going on per the mind and per the ego, right? The higher self is saying, I am you, you are me, we are one. We are the I am presence having an experience of separation, and now we're shifting out of that. And just like you trusted me, but you thought you were trusting ego in the separation construct, now remember that I am still you. We are just not experiencing separation anymore. We're experiencing oneness, right? The higher self has always been you. It will always be you. Always. The I am presence is always you. It will always be you. Whether you're experiencing separation or whether you're shifting back into experiencing oneness. It's all the experience, right, of the higher self and the I am presence. So you can look at it as if the I am presence was leading me through all of that ego, you know, stuff and whatever else that I was dealing with in separation consciousness, and I didn't question it then. Didn't know necessarily that it was around. Maybe some of you did. You didn't question it then. So now as I'm shifting through my awakening and coming back into a higher vibratory state, why am I questioning it now by needing proof in the external when I know as within, so without, as above, so below? It's just the way it works. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that helps, and I hope you have an awesome day.